Home court week for ESPN, and who's benefited more from being at home than Arkansas? 11-0 this season, riding a 16-game win streak, and a big reason why, the leading scorer in the SEC, Bobby Portis.
And Bobby Portis stayed in school, did not take off in bowl for the NBA, stuck around, and his maturity and his improvement has shown up huge this year for the Razorbacks. You see his ability to score in the post. He didn't have that as much last year, but put in a lot of work in the gym over the summer. One thing he could always do was shoot the basketball. But here, not taking a quick shot early in the shot clock, early in the possession, continues to work on that post-up game and tries to get involved in the paint. But when he's unable to get it, he still has that ability to step out and knock it down from beyond the three.
And the sophomore forward named to the Wooden Watch midseason top 25 list. Our starting lineups for Ole Miss, the trifecta in the guard play of White, Summers, and Moody, who have come up with 55% of the scoring offense this season for the Rebels. On the other side of the ball for 19th ranked Arkansas, a big key for Portis, his teammate Michael Qualls, the two of them combining for almost 34 points, leading the SEC in scoring.
Well, and the thing you love about Michael Qualls, Mr. SC Top 10, has made 9 trips already on the SportsCenter Top 10.
Head coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Mike Anderson, in his 4th season. A remarkable stat here, Corey. One of 11 Division I coaches with at least 10 years of experience that hasn't had a losing season.
And Mike Anderson paid his dues in Arkansas, 17 years as an assistant coach to Nolan Richardson. And this style of play, what used to be 40 minutes of hell, now the fastest 40 minutes, is in his DNA, it's in his blood, and they get after you, especially when you talk about playing at Bud Walton Arena.
Arkansas in their home white, coming in 13-3 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. Ole Miss in their road blue, 10-6, 1-2 in conference action. And if you notice, only 2 refs on the floor. That's because Anthony Jordan, before the game, suffering a bad calf. So it's all up to Glenn Tuitt and Mark Ellard here tonight at Bud Walton Arena as Arkansas controls the opening tap.
And that favors Arkansas, because when you talk about the pressing, trapping style of play, and you can get up and start smacking a couple hands and arms, only 2 officials definitely benefits the Razorbacks.
Rashad Madden, the senior guard, at the point here for the Razorbacks, as Portis nearly lets the bucket go. He'll go to the free throw line. Ole Miss, led by Andy Kennedy in his 9th season, with a career record of 181 and 106, and that one NCAA appearance back in 2013. The 2-time SEC Coach of the Year has certainly turned this program around.
Absolutely, and you talk about a guy who's in the top 5 in wins throughout the first 8 seasons in SEC play. Andy Kennedy, one of the most underrated coaches in college basketball, not just the SEC, but a guy who's brought a tradition of playing good, solid basketball to Ole Miss.
Jarvis Summers called for the foul as Portis knocks down the first one and gets both. So a nice start for Arkansas here to take the early lead. Arkansas has had a lot of problems against Ole Miss here in Fayetteville, having lost 4 of the last 5 matchups. But for Ole Miss, they haven't beaten a ranked opponent on the road since 2003, Corey.
And we talked to Andy Kennedy about that, you know, and how much success he's had at Bud Walton Arena. But he said, yeah, but I think Arkansas got tired of hearing about it, and they beat us by 30 last year. So, you know, but one thing, you do have the attention of the Razorbacks. They know that Ole Miss is capable of going out on the road, getting a win in their building. So Arkansas will definitely bring their A game tonight.
Arkansas coming in, leading the SEC in scoring at 83 points a pop here this season, as Moses Kingsley, the sophomore forward, in the low post. Under 10 left on the shot clock here for Arkansas. Madden, long range, can't get it, tipped away, and a fresh 35 here for the Razorbacks.
And that's one thing, if you're Ole Miss, you can't afford to continue to give Arkansas opportunities on the offensive end, because when they get the ball in this guy's hands, and Portis, he understands how to get the job done.
All 4 points early on from the sophomore forward and Portis, and the crowd energized early on at Bud Walton Arena. Ole Miss coming off a 4-point loss on Wednesday in Oxford to LSU, where the trio of White, Summers, and Moody finished 14 of 45 from the floor. On the other end, the slam dunk, the senior and MJ Rhett answers on the other side for the Rebels.
And that's how you quiet the crowd. They're going to get excited, and Bud Walton and Rita, they're happy about their team, but that's the way you answer. Trying to finish at the rim, two hands finish over top of the Arkansas defense will silence the crowd.
Ole Miss in their 2-3 zone. As Qualls steps back off the back iron, rebounded by Rhett. Coming off that career performance against LSU with 7 rebounds and a team-high 15 points. Bobby Portis, as good as advertised early on so far, Corey.
Now, Bobby Portis, 2 free throws early and then getting the ball on the block and using that newfound strength. He's always had the athletic ability, but on the other end, it's Rhett, 2-hand finish. And again, when you penetrate the interior of the defense against Arkansas, you can have your way at the rim. Portis is a pretty good shot blocker, but they don't have a lot of size up front.
Inside feed, nice look. As Sebastian Saiz comes up with the bucket for Ole Miss, who have started off red hot, 3 of 3 from the floor.
And you see the zone defense from Ole Miss taking a page out of the book of Tennessee, who beat Arkansas last time out. Tennessee zoned Arkansas a lot. Didn't want to let Portis get off, but you see the zone has started to give problems to the Razorbacks after Portis was able to get off early in the game.
Portis with his first miss of the game. As Ole Miss looking to build on this early 2-point advantage. Saiz coming in, the team's leading rebounder. Loose ball tracked down by Rhett. Now Saiz with a triple team able to get it past. And now a 6-0 run for Ole Miss to begin this one.
And so far, both teams really doing a tremendous job getting the ball in the paint and scoring around the basket, but Ole Miss now getting production from Saiz and Rhett. Those guys are giving him, but they're giving him a great job. But when you think about Qualls and what he does for Arkansas, his production is going to be heavily needed tonight.
Timeout on the floor. Coming up, hog call equals winning. We'll bring you the details next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state.
Every day, Bill had a choice. He could walk to work the same way he always did, or he could learn a new language with Rosetta Stone. He could mindlessly check emails, or check out a new lesson.
Je t'aime.
He could watch the grass grow, or watch his language skills grow.
Comme ça?
Très bien.
Right now, you have the same choice. You could let time pass you by, or you could do something life-changing.
C'est une belle montre.
Experience the new Rosetta Stone. Call now for a free demo at 1-888-232-4871.
C'est bon.
With award-winning speech recognition technology, Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. Now it's your turn to do something exciting. You could keep watching TV, or you could seize the day. Call now for a free demo at 1-888-232-4871.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. Call the number on your screen right now to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
Pistons Hawks, Monday at 2:30 on ESPN.
Ole Miss with the early 2-point advantage over 19th ranked Arkansas. And tonight's game, part of My Home Court, our week-long celebration of the great college basketball arenas around the country. And there are many great traditions in college basketball, but one of the more memorable ones, the hog call at Arkansas, as the Razorback fans have used the hog call at sporting events for over a century. Here's the latest edition in the pregame tonight. One of the great traditions, Corey Alexander, the hog call. And give you a little background info on this. Sources said it started in the early 1920s when a group of farmers, in fact, used to call the Razorback football team the same way they called their pigs on the farm. That's how it came about.
Whatever it is, it works. When you think about the hog call and doing it at Bud Walton Arena, one of the best home court advantages, not only in the SEC, but throughout the country. And you're talking about when you have to go in there and play against Mike Anderson, one of the best coaches on his own home court.
Big reason why 11-0 the Razorbacks are this season at Bud Walton Arena. Old Miss has come out firing in this game, 4 of 4, with all 8 points coming in the paint. Key reason why they have the 2-point advantage. 8 left on the shot clock. Saeeds in the paint, blocked away by the sophomore forward in Kingsley. As it will stay with Old Miss with 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
And when we talk about the interior of Arkansas, this is the guy. Kingsley is a shot blocker. That is his role on this team, and he's the defensive anchor behind there. And, of course, when you pressure the way that Arkansas does on the perimeter, you have to have a guy like Moses Kingsley in the background to knock away shots.
Old Miss with a shot clock violation gives the ball back to Arkansas. A team coming off a road loss to Tennessee. Their 2 victories so far in conference play against Georgia and Vanderbilt. As Portis working on the baseline. Kicks it out to Qualls for 3. Knocks it down. Great passing leading to the 3.
And that's one of the differences in this Arkansas team with Portis' ability to score on the block. The threes from Arkansas don't come as quickly in the possession, but they come off of kickouts. And you've got a great post player. You're going to have guys, if they can knock down shots, they're going to have opportunities. A year ago, when Arkansas was able to beat Ole Miss at Bud Walton Arena, Arkansas knocked down a program record 17 three-pointers in that game.
A couple of substitutions for both teams as Moody checks in back for Ole Miss. And coming in, Alandis Harris, the senior forward for Arkansas, as Kingsley takes a seat. There is no doubt a great advantage in college basketball, Corey, when you have a home style like this type of arena.
It's one of those places as a player you have to think about going into. Of course, it's fun to be able to play there as a player, but when things start going against you and not going your way, you got to have guys like this who are able to step up and knock down shots and really just get the crowd off your back. Terrence Smith able to step in and knock down a big basket for Ole Miss in a time when the crowd really wanted to get into it for the Woe Pig Suey group.
5:06, Ole Miss has started out this game a 1-point lead. On the other end, quickly to the basket and firing it, knocking it down. On that play, Aaron Jones with the bucket.
But one thing you've seen from Ole Miss, they have not come in fazed by the atmosphere at all. They've been able to do what they wanted on the offensive end. After the first couple possessions, they've really been able to execute offensively.
Qualls with a nice rebound, draws the foul underneath. He'll go to the free throw line. As Qualls will step to the free throw line on the season, an 84% shooter, coming in 5th in the SEC in scoring in that complementary duo with Portis.
Absolutely, and you think about Qualls, his athletic ability, but he's really developed into more of a scorer, a shooter, and an all-around better basketball player. And when you look at it, it's really just a progression of the way things have gone for Mike Anderson. His guys have grown up, and now he can trust more than just Bobby Portis. Portis has a complement of players. One of the reasons why this Arkansas team is picked second in the preseason and some third in polls, but from the standpoint of now an opportunity to represent Arkansas in the NCAA tournament where they haven't been much, and especially for such a storied program.
6 straight years Arkansas has missed the NCAA tournament. That last foul going against Smith for Ole Miss. Pressure defense up front. Kick out in the corner. Martavius Newby on the three-point attempt, but he was fouled.
And a great job by Summers getting out of the trap Newby spotted up in the corner, unable to hit the shot, but the reason why, because of the contact, drawing the foul, an opportunity for 3 free throws. And we talked about Ole Miss. They've been able to execute on the offensive end, now have an opportunity to add more points to their total, but a lot of it because they have not turned the basketball over. They've done a great job against Arkansas's pressure defense, and because of it, they've been in command of this game in the first half.
They're going to go to the monitor to look to see if this is going to be 3 free throw attempts by Newby. Ole Miss, a team coming off that loss against LSU. Head coach Andy Kennedy really made it known that it was a disappointing loss, that he saw in his players' faces that this team wanted to bounce back in a big way.
Absolutely, and disappointing because he didn't have the production from his backcourt, which he's normally used to getting. When you start to think about, guys like Moody and Summers, he has a reliable backcourt, but they didn't show up in the LSU game. But he knows that his guys aren't going to have 2 back-to-back performances as such.
And the question for the Rebels program, who's going to be that fourth option here for Andy Kennedy, as it will be 3 shots from Artavius Newby, a 90% free throw shooter, as he connects on the first. And Ole Miss coming in 3rd in the SEC in 3-point shooting at just under 39%. But it's free throws that they lead the nation in 78% as a team. That's key.
And that's a great weapon to have when you think about it, because one of the things coaches, I'm sure, tell them, guys, we can't put them on the line when it's not necessary from the standpoint. It's not a team that you want to get to the bonus in early in halves, because this Ole Miss team goes in, they cash out from the free throw line, and that is a tremendous weapon to have, especially late in basketball games.
And Newby knocking down all 3. And it's a 5-point advantage. Now a turnover. Numbers on the other end. Alley-oop time. Moody coming down with the slam.
And for those of you at home watching, Moody only goes about 5'10", so you think about how high he had to get up to catch that lob. But Ole Miss taking a page out of the book of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and they're getting the job done defensively. As you see, you cannot hang the ball in the air against this defense, and a great pass, and more importantly, big-time finish by Stephon Moody.
Jones called for the foul as Ole Miss continues to dominate so far from the field. 7 of 8 shooting. And for Moody, he was dominant when he played at Florida Atlantic. Then he went to junior college. Now 16 games in, he's certainly been made an impact player here for Coach Andy Kennedy.
Absolutely, and he was the guy that really got the attention against Kentucky. We talked about that overtime loss, but 25 points, he was huge in that game, and there wasn't really not much of an answer for him at Kentucky.
One shy of his career high in that overtime loss. Arkansas with the miss again from 3-point range. So far, what has been the struggle for this Arkansas offense?
Well, it's been the zone defense, and we talked to Coach Kennedy, and he told us, hey, we're going to play a number of different defenses and see what works for us. Well, so far in this first half, it's been the 2-3 zone that has worked for them, and at the other end, Ole Miss has had their way on the offensive end.
Jarvis Summers coming up with the 3. First 3 of the game for Ole Miss. On the other end, trying to answer off the mark on that one was Harris. Eight for 9 is Ole Miss from the field. And a reach-in foul.
But one thing, if you have to go play in a hostile territory, the best thing you can have is experienced guard. Jarvis Summers has more wins in the SEC than anyone else playing basketball, and knocking down a 3 for the 10-point lead.
Introducing the State Farm National Bureau of Assists. Sebastian Curry, twin of Stephen Curry, has a master's in disasters. Summer Bird, twin of Sue Bird, stops at nothing except stoplights. Darius Lillard, twin of Damian Lillard, says there's no I in assist. Don Stockton, twin of John Stockton, Chief Assist Officer. And of course, Cliff Paul, assisting as a new starting 5.
At Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. Wait, the 10 nuggets deal is back again?
$1.49 for 10 nuggets.
Sweet! They're crispy and golden on the outside, made with white meat on the inside. Enjoy 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49 today, only at Burger King.
Nissan Rogue with Safety Shield technologies. The only thing left to fear is your imagination. Nissan, innovation that excites.
Cheez-It Grooves are the best of both worlds, like a Cheez-It and a chip.
Oh, you just put them together.
Yes.
Closer. Closer. They're kissing.
We take time for our cheese to mature in our crispy Cheez-It Grooves.
10-point advantage for Ole Miss here over 19th-ranked Arkansas at the 11:58 mark of the first half. Take a look at what Ole Miss has done so far this year, and surprisingly, they've been a better team away from Oxford. And a big reason why is the trifecta of Moody, Summers, and White.
Well, when you think about it, experienced guards give you opportunities when you go out on the road, and they've been able to do that this year. Of course, if you're Coach Kennedy, you're wondering why are we not better at home. But these guys, when you think about Moody, Summers, and White, they do a great job of handling the basketball. When you look at it in this game so far, you know, Arkansas only 3 points off turnovers, and they live off of that, especially in their home arena. And Andy Kennedy has had success against this team. And you had a guy, you know, a couple years ago that kind of helped out when you went on the road by the name of Marshall Henderson, who kind of got under the skin of opposing fans at times. But, you know, they had good Marshall, bad Marshall, but Andy Kennedy loved that guy.
Stole my thunder right there, Corey Alexander.
My apologies, my apologies.
Well, this Ole Miss offense has been red hot to start this game, 8 of 9. And, in fact, sharing the wealth, 8 players have scored so far, none more than 4 points. Second chance opportunity, in fact, a third chance. And now a foul that looks to be against the freshman Anton Beard. And he does not like it.
Absolutely not, and he has to be careful because he almost earned himself a technical foul right there. Whenever the officials start to walk away and they stop and turn and look back at you, that means you're close to getting one. The official holding some restraint there and not giving Beard the technical. But please believe he is on notice at this point. But right now, Ole Miss has been faster to the basketball, the 50-50 balls. And one of the things we talked to Coach Anderson, and he talked about how at times early in the season, this Arkansas team felt like they could beat you with their offense. But he says now we've taken that loss at Tennessee, we should know better than that. But early in this game, the energy and effort has been on the side of Ole Miss.
And for the freshman Beard, that's his second foul, as Moody can't connect on the second one. And now another foul underneath, going against Ja'Cory Williams. And think about this, Corey, for this Arkansas offense. Quails, alongside with Portis, have been the only scoring so far.
Absolutely, and when you look on the other side, Ole Miss has 8 players already have a basket, so they're getting balanced scoring. No one with more than 4 points, but they continue to get the job done. Colby coming up with the offensive rebound off a free throw, and that's pretty much inexcusable if you're Arkansas.
Great perimeter passing leading to the 3 from the corner. Now a 12-0 run here for Ole Miss as Ladarius White connecting from downtown.
And we talked about home court advantages, but right now the Rebels have no care as to where they are right now. They're playing as though they're on their own home court.
And keep in mind, Arkansas already in foul trouble, 16 fouls to this point. As Portis with the offensive board goes up strong, but he was hacked on his way.
And you mentioned that the only true offensive production that the Razorbacks have gotten thus far in this game is from Bobby Portis and Michael Quarles. So those two guys, without them, where would Arkansas be right now? And, of course, if you're going to play with just 2 guys being that dominant, they have to get the ball in their hands pretty much every time down the floor. Someone for Arkansas outside of those 2 guys is going to have to step up and start making some shots.
As Portis, the reigning SEC Player of the Week, knocking down the first free throw. As that last foul going against the senior MJ Rhett. Portis, as we mentioned, part of the midseason Wooden Watch list, top 25, one of 3 SEC players to make the list. And makes both free throws here to cut it in half.
But this is where the production really needs to pick up for Arkansas. They've got to find a way to get Ole Miss out of their comfort zone. Almost a turnover there by Moody, the trap by Arkansas, but right now, Ole Miss is way too comfortable on the offensive end. They are 9 of 11 shooting field goals right now, and they only have 1 turnover. That rarely happens when you play against the Razorbacks.
And compare that to an Arkansas team that started 3 of 6, since then 0 of 6. As White, the kick out into the corner for Moody. He knocks down the 3 ball.
Great ball movement for Ole Miss. And on that one, Rashad Madden turned his head for just a second, and that's enough time for Stephon Moody to knock down the 3. Great pass by White. But when you think about it, if you're Arkansas right now, you've got to stick to the basics defensively because it's more important to get stops than it is scores.
Qualls with an answer on the other end for Arkansas. Great battle in the backcourt between Moody and Qualls, who's got 9 now to lead the way for the Razorbacks. And right now the story has been Portis and Qualls and nobody else for the Razorbacks. Off the miss, Madden directing traffic, able to draw the foul.
Well, on the Ole Miss end right now, Stephon Moody is starting to get hot, knocking down the 3-pointer. At the other end, Michael Qualls steps to the corner, knocks down the 3. However, if you're Arkansas at this point, you cannot afford to trade baskets. Down 12 right now, they've got to find a way to come up with some stops and scores at the other end.
White the foul, his first. 15 foul for Ole Miss as Madden connects on the first free throw. We talked about an Ole Miss team seeking their first win against a ranked opponent on the road since 2003. They've already got a ranked win on the road against SMU earlier in the season in non-conference play. As Madden, a 92% free throw shooter, able to knock down both, and now full court pressure here by Arkansas.
But one of the things when you play against Ole Miss, you think about they have a number of ball handlers, which of course helps you when you've got to play against the full court pressure of Arkansas.
And now an offensive foul gives the possession right back to Arkansas, and seeing some energy right now here in Bud Walton Arena as Jones called for his second. Both teams now one away from the bonus. You played at the University of Virginia. What's it like playing in an atmosphere where it's a packed, sellout crowd?
Well, one of the things when you play at Virginia, you play in the ACC, there are a number of venues that you go into that are, you know, hostile environments, but none better than Cameron Indoor. And that's what you think about when you're talking about home court advantages. You know, but for a player, it's fun because you get to, you know, that energy gives you a little bit as well as an opposing player because you know it's you against the world. But for Arkansas right now, it's Rashad Madden stepping up, knocking down the 3, and now they've finally had someone else other than Portis and Qualls to step up and give them some points. It's the senior that really stepping up, making a big-time shot.
Part of an 8-0 run off that 3 from Madden, and now we're starting to hear the crowd in Fayetteville come to life. Down by 7 are the Hogs. Shot clock down to 10. Ole Miss has got to get a shot off. Throwing it up was Newby, and he connects it off glass. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Well, that's the worst case scenario from Arkansas. And I believe the officials are actually going to check to make sure that basket did get off in time because it's so loud in the gym, they couldn't hear the horn. As you see Newby get open, but I'm not sure if he got this off. That's close. But great job by the officials stopping it to make sure. But you go based upon the red light on the backboard. Looks to be as though that basket is good.
So now Ole Miss off the Newby 3, 4 of 5 from long distance. Mike Anderson doesn't like the call as the lead back up to double digits for the Rebels.
And just as you felt that momentum in the building on the side of the Razorbacks, a fortunate bounce for Ole Miss. As you see the ball still in Newby's hands.
I think Ole Miss caught a break.
I believe Ole Miss definitely
I don't see any separation.
I believe Ole Miss did catch a break on that one. I believe the officials didn't feel like there was enough evidence to overturn the fact that they called it a made basket on the floor. However, Mike Anderson definitely not happy about that decision.
And let's remind our viewers that this game, we're only down to 2 officials. Anthony Taylor out with a calf injury. Anthony Jordan, excuse me, with the calf injury. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for Glenn Tuitt and Mark Ellard to officiate this game. Turnover and numbers on the other end for Ole Miss, as that one will stay with the Rebels.
But just like that, you talk about a change in momentum. A great defensive possession by Arkansas. A bank shot three-pointer gives Ole Miss a 10-point lead, and then a turnover now gives Ole Miss an opportunity to extend that lead if they're able to score on this possession. That is a change in the tide of momentum against the Razorbacks.
Smith, the pull-up jumper, and knocks it down. Terrence Smith, who came in averaging just over 3 a game, already has 4 points here for Ole Miss.
And Terrence Smith has knocked down 2 huge shots, especially at a time where the momentum was in the favor of the Razorbacks. Smith stepping up and making big plays for his team off the bench.
Portis drawing the foul against Sebastian Saiz. That's going to be his first. And it's going to send Portis to the line to shoot 2. So much has been made about the play of Bobby Portis this year, and certainly well worth the advertising, leading the SEC in scoring at 18 per contest. What makes him such a dynamic player?
Well, what really helps Bobby Portis, his ability to shoot the basketball, makes him different from most of the big guys that you see throughout the SEC. And there are a tremendous amount of talented forwards in the SEC, but Bobby Portis' ability to shoot from beyond the arc, as well as the mid-range jump shot, helps him. But he's developed that low post game this year that he didn't have as a freshman. And you see what he's done throughout the season. 18 points, 8 boards, but shooting 58% from the field. For a guy that's your go-to guy to shoot 58% from the field, you have to love the numbers Bobby Portis has put up all year.
The only player to be in the top 5 in all those SEC categories, knocking down both free throws, and a foul on the other end is Moody, quick to the drive.
And you have to love the aggressiveness of Moody, not pulling it out and waiting for Arkansas to allow the defense to get set up, but to continue to pursue and getting to the rim. And right here, you see the foul. Quall's not happy about it. He got the foul, but I believe that foul was on Durham. As Moody was coming to the basket, Durham actually smacked him on the arm, but I'm not sure who they gave that foul to.
They actually credited the foul to Qualls. That'll be his first, as that will send Moody to the free throw line to shoot a pair. And a storyline developing right now, Corey. Ole Miss coming in, the nation's top free throw shooting team at 78%. But a reason why Arkansas is in this game, only down by 10, 9 of 10 from the charity stripe.
Absolutely, and one of the things you see with Ole Miss, when they get to the line, you see them miss a shot. It's very rare to see that happen. It's almost surprising. And I believe one of the officials is giving a warning to Coach Anderson and the bench of Arkansas right now. Not happy about the conduct somehow over there. It was enough for him to stop play and go talk to the scorer's table. He's not happy about something he heard coming from the sideline.
Anderson more than likely still heated about the newbie 3 that counted. Either way, Arkansas down by 11. Qualls off the mark on that 3-point attempt.
And the crowd wanted a foul on that possession. They felt like Qualls was hit as he went up to shoot the 3.
Nice crossover dribble. Now the spin by Moody off the mark on that 12-foot jumper. Under 8 to play in this first half at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. Portis on the other end with the jumper, and he continues to be red hot now in double digits, 10 points to lead the way for the Hogs.
And that shows you just a small tidbit of what Bobby Portis is able to do. You're talking about a 6'11" sophomore who can step out and shoot the basketball on the perimeter. We've already seen what he can do in the post, but now he's showing us just a myriad of his moves tonight.
Moody trying to answer with a 3, way off the mark on that attempt. Down to single digits is the deficit for Arkansas. And Qualls able to draw the foul here with a timeout on the floor. Ole Miss holding on early over Arkansas.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Not again. I didn't know you guys were watching last night. Thank you guys. It means a lot. Thank you.
What are you talking about, Steph?
I had that 27-10 last night, and today, chicken curry. 54 points last week, and the next day, curry stew.
Yeah, but Steph, I don't think
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. It means a lot. I lace them up every night for guys like you.
Who was that guy? I don't know. Seems like the chicken, though.
I always thought this journey would end in battle. But now something else lies at the end of this road. Judgment.
What did you do?
What was necessary?
Hi, can you open the razor case, please?
Photo ID.
I'm just grabbing some razors.
Grabbing? Put your index finger in there, sir, please.
I just need to get in a case.
Why do you need to get in the case so bad?
So I can buy some razors?
It's almost like they don't want you to buy their razors. Well, I want you to buy mine. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors for just a few bucks.
Brandon Fitzgerald back in studio. Let's get you caught up on a Big 12 matchup between Kansas and Iowa State. Devontae Graham getting the kick out from the corner. Cans it with just over 10 seconds left in the half. And then on the other end, Naz Long beats the buzzer. It's a 6-point lead for the Cyclones in the second half, guys.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Our score here, 19th ranked Arkansas trailing Ole Miss 33-24. Reminder as well, ACC Sunday Night Basketball comes your way tomorrow from Chapel Hill when Marcus Page and 15th ranked North Carolina set to take on first-year head coach Buzz Williams and Virginia Tech as a part of home court basketball here on ESPNU starting at 6:30. Also available on the Watch ESPN app. And interesting to note about the Big 12, 7 of the top 25 ranked teams come from the Big 12.
But, of course, we keep promoting Big 12 games. It says this ranked team versus that ranked team. Everyone pretty much is ranked in the Big 12. But right now, from top to bottom, I believe the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball. I don't think they're as heavy at the top, but they have quality all the way throughout the conference.
Take a look at the career of Michael Qualls, what he's been able to do. Every year he has gotten better, going from just 4 points in his freshman campaign to now being second on the team behind Portis.
Well, he was just an athlete when he got to Arkansas. Now he is a basketball player. And you think about all the things, the intangible he brings to this team. He, along with Portis, one of the top duos in the country.
Qualls now with 11. Portis has 10. As the lead now down to 7 here for Ole Miss. Alongside Corey Alexander, I'm John Brickley inside Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Great SEC matchup here between the Rebels and the Razorbacks. At the free throw line, Saiz using the backboard, getting the jumper to fall.
Well, the backboard has been the friend of the Rebels here tonight. The second time they've gone off glass from the front of the basket. Those are the ones that you normally have to call. However, it's so loud in Bud Walton Arena, we wouldn't hear it whether they did or not.
Portis trying to answer on the other end, off the mark, and a foul underneath. As much as we've promoted how great that trifecta of Summers, Moody, and White have been, the bench play has been as strong as well for this Rebels team tonight.
It really has. They've gotten production from a lot of different guys, and that's what you need if you're talking about coming into a hostile environment and walking away with the win. You're going to need a number of other guys to step up. You need for your stars to be just that, but you need other guys to step up and give you huge performances as well.
Williams called for that last foul as Newby could not come up with the free throw. As Ole Miss outscoring Arkansas's bench 12-0. Again, we should mention we're only having 2 officials on the floor tonight. Anthony Jordan out with a bad calf, so Glenn Tuitt and Mark Ellard have double duty here tonight.
Well, and you think about that, and when you're talking about an extremely physical game with a lot of big bodies, that's asking a lot of two officials. But these guys doing a very good job so far throughout this game, really keeping things under control, not allowing tempers to start to flare. Of course, Mike Anderson not happy about a couple of the calls that haven't gone the way of the Razorbacks. But one thing about these officials, somehow they always find a way to balance it out.
Saeed's called for his second foul. That's the 19th foul against Ole Miss, as Portis missing on the free throw attempt. 11 of 13 from the charity stripe. The Hogs are here in this first half. Another slam dunk. It's been the story so far here for Ole Miss as the senior Rhett coming up with the two-handed slam.
And Rhett coming off of a career-high 15 points against LSU, and he has continued the momentum of the way that he's been playing and does a great job right here, not settling for anything other than the finish at the rim, going over two Arkansas defenders.
Ole Miss has been red hot from the floor here in this first half, 74%. We take a look at how Ole Miss has been so good. It's been the trifecta.
Well, you expect for Moody to be involved in the game, and he gets involved on the beautiful alley-oop, getting his first two of the game. And then Jarvis Summers, the senior point guard, knocking down the three. These are the guys that you expect production from, but you don't always expect it from Saez, as well as MJ Rhett. Both these guys getting the job done on the court. And when you think about this Ole Miss team, they've gotten production. They've had 8 different players score already in this game. And when you have balanced attack like that, you can have success on the road.
And all the talk coming into this game was about Arkansas's offense, and SEC best 83 points. Yet the story in this first half has been the Ole Miss offense.
And give a lot of credit to Coach Kennedy and the way that Ole Miss has switched up their defenses and really thrown off Arkansas. You see it coming up with another turnover and an opportunity to extend the lead. But he told us we'll play whatever defense is necessary for us to find something that works. But the offensive end and defensively for Arkansas right now is a struggle, giving up easy baskets as such. Mike Anderson cannot be happy with the effort he's getting from his team on the defensive end.
Off that third Arkansas turnover, Dwight Colby, the slam dunk, part of a 6-0 run here for Ole Miss. They built the lead up to 13. Make it 10. Qualls from the corner with the tray.
And Qualls with 14 points. Portis with 10 in this game so far. And you think about these two guys, 24 of the 29 Arkansas points. Not only do they need someone else to step up on the offensive end, but they've got to find a way to get some stops on this end of the floor.
Colby one-on-one with Portis, and he wins the battle between sophomores. Outside of Portis and Qualls, who has to be that third option right now for Arkansas?
Well, you would think it would be Madden, the senior guard, to step up, and he's their third leading scorer, so you would expect more production from him. But it's not really the problems on the offensive end, even though that's been somewhat of an issue. It's more importantly the fact that Ole Miss has 41 points already in the first half, and we're not even under the 4-minute mark.
Beautiful look, too strong on the slam was Kingsley, and that kind of describes the first half.
However, Kingsley was pushed in the back right there, and that's where you talk about the two officials on the floor not being able to see everything, but he was clearly pushed in the back as he went up for that dunk. He still should have made it, but he should have been at the free throw line with an opportunity for the and one.
Qualls misfires on the three. Portis underneath the putback. The lead down to 10 for Ole Miss, 41-31 here under 4 minutes to play. As Portis, 12 points on 3 of 6 shooting.
26 points combined for Portis and Qualls. Someone else is going to have to help get it done on the offensive end. But again, you continue to watch Ole Miss do whatever they feel on the offensive end. Coach Anderson talked to us about the fact that he felt like at times his team felt like they were outscoring people and they were a better offensive team. They had a good week of practice as Portis is able to finish off of a great feed. But there's no celebration for the Razorbacks right now because they are getting torched on the defensive end.
Portis, Qualls, they have been the story as the conference's top slam dunk.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Dish. Only the Hopper from Dish gives you the power to watch all your live and recorded TV anywhere.
I'm more of a friend than I am a father. It's more just love with me.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Everybody trying to see if Snoop Dogg's son can really play football or is it all hype. Considering that I started him playing at 5 years old and to know that all these years of work has translated into him becoming a collegiate football player, yeah, that would be big.
Snoop and Son, A Dad's Dream, Wednesdays at 7 on ESPN.
Does anybody know how I can get a small business loan fast?
I'm a chef.
I'm a stylist.
I sell tires for your car.
I'm a doc in private practice.
That's my name above that bar.
Rapid Advance.
Help my business grow.
Rapid Advance. They didn't say no. Rapid Advance.
I got approval in a day.
Rapid Advance. I got my money right away.
With Rapid, there's no hassles.
No credit checks galore.
You just need to be in business for a year or more.
Call 877-GO-RAPID or visit rapidadvance.com. Get up to $300,000 in just days. 877-GO-RAPID.
Rapid Advance. They didn't say no. Rapid Advance. They help your business grow.
Call 877-GO-RAPID or rapidadvance.com.
Your money's here.
Back in studio, Brendan Fitzgerald with Adrian Branch. All the talk entering this one about Arkansas's defense, turnovers, and meanwhile, Ole Miss, 10-point lead.
Met the challenge. You know, coming into this game, they said they have to be tough and aggressive, and they're third in the conference in second chance points.
More on this game, as well as the rest of the SEC on the ESPNU Halftime Report coming up. Guys, back to you.
All right, guys, 3:23 left to go in Fayetteville. Ole Miss and Arkansas, two officials in this game. Corey Alexander, they've had their hands full.
Well, when you want to go get a win on the road, you got to have a couple things go your way. One of those things would be getting away with, a couple of small entities. But you see right here, Newby pushes Kingsley directly in the back. Kingsley misses the dunk. Now, of course, the Razorbacks maintain possession, but the crowd is upset. The players are upset that it wasn't called. But again, when you go from having three officials on the floor, everyone having a different zone, compared to having only two, and now that doubles the work for each one of these officials and what they have to watch. They're going to miss some things. They missed that one just like Kingsley missed the dunk on that end. But at the end of the day, Arkansas retained the possession. No harm done. But the fans there not happy about the missed call.
Newby also involved in that three-point shot that went down. Seemed as if he didn't beat the shot clock. Either way, Ole Miss with a 9-point advantage, having made their last 5 shots. Beautiful feed inside, drawing the foul. He'll go to the free throw line in the form of Aaron Jones.
And Arkansas has been so aggressive out on the perimeter, and they're really chasing turnovers because one of the things with the guard play from Ole Miss at this point, they haven't been able to force many turnovers. Ole Miss only 2 turnovers on the evening. So, but with the guard play so aggressive on the exterior, they're leaving guys wide open under the basket. We've seen a number of times where Ole Miss has had players right underneath the basket wide open for uncontested layups and dunks.
Portis called for the foul, his first. That made free throw by Jones. He becomes now the 9th Rebel to score here tonight as the lead back up to 10 and make it 11. 45-34 here as we approach the 3-0 mark.
And Ole Miss 7 for 10 from the free throw line, actually below their season average, and that's the only place where they really struggled at all, to say the least, in this game.
Madden traveled with the basketball. That's the 4th turnover now against Arkansas.
But one thing you see, only 6 turnovers in the first half combined for these two teams, which makes for a clean game, and you see scoring because of it. The surprise is the fact that Ole Miss, with 45 points already with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left to go in this first half, and now a turnover by Ole Miss, as Moody steps on the line against the pressure. But if you're Arkansas, when you force those turnovers, you have to find a way to be able to come up with points off of them. And for them, it's going to be important. Down 11, they need to try to build some momentum for the remainder of this first half to take into the locker room at halftime.
Third turnover against Ole Miss, whose bench has been the key factor in this first half, outscoring Arkansas's bench 16-0. Off the screen, three-pointer in and out off of Bell underneath the rebound by Colby. As Summers pushing the tempo, the sophomore Colby front rim that attempt. Well, the story for Arkansas has been the duo of Qualls and Portis, and everyone else trying to step in, including Bell, knocking down the jumper, and he'll go to the free throw line to try to complete the three-point play.
And we talked about Bobby Portis' scoring ability, but a great pass to Bell, who's able to finish through the contact, an opportunity for an and one. And Bell's another guy, if you're Arkansas, you need to look to for production. Bell had 23 points in the win last year against Ole Miss, knocked down 7 for 10 from behind the three-point arc, but really hasn't had much production this game. And I'm sure he got the attention of Coach Andy Kennedy, and he's one of the guys that Ole Miss wanted to make sure didn't get off here tonight.
Moody called for the foul as Arkansas 13 of 15 from the free throw line. And in fact, Bell's 3 points, the first bench points of the game here for the Razorbacks. Trying to answer on the other end, and they do. Ole Miss on the three-pointer by Jarvis Summers. Qualls muscling his way in, fouls his own shot.
We've talked about the athleticism of Qualls and the way that he goes about making plays, and that is just pure energy, effort, and athletic ability. Be the first one off the floor to tip in his own miss.
The junior with a game-high 16 points on 5 of 9 shooting.
In the switch back, I was wondering why Bobby Portis was chasing Jarvis Summers all the way out to half court. Nothing against Bobby Portis, but that is a mismatch in the favor of Summers.
Summers kept his composure. Fadeaway three does not drop. And rebounded by Qualls, who draws the foul against Colby.
And Jarvis Summers knocking down the three-pointer on the last possession. Well, so we thought it was a three-pointer. Not sure if the officials looked over to review that later, but they can go back and look at it through a timeout. And if they do, that definitely will be one that they'll take one of the points off the board for Ole Miss.
Again, 2 officials after the injury of Anthony Jordan with a bad calf. Meanwhile, Monday on ESPNU will feature a Big 12 battle. Number 20 Texas behind Isaiah Taylor facing off with TCU, part of Big Monday presented by Verizon. Monday 7 Eastern here on ESPNU. And Texas, that team bunched in with a number of ranked teams in the Big 12. Where do you see Texas stack up in the conference?
Well, with Isaiah Taylor back in the lineup, remember they missed him for, probably about 4 weeks with a broken wrist, but they were really good with him early, and I think they're really just starting to get back adjusted to him being in the lineup. I think they're a team that can definitely do some damage in March, but when you talk about the Big 12, everyone's chasing Kansas.
Smith with the three-pointer, as now Ole Miss 6 of 7 from beyond the arc, and a built-up 11-point lead here with 40 seconds to play, and now forcing a turnover against Arkansas.
Now, we know Ole Miss can shoot the basketball. There's no question about that. They've got a number of guys that understand how to stretch it, as we see Smith knock down the three, but from a number of guys that can shoot it from beyond the arc. But right now, Ole Miss has 51 points, and the first half is yet to be over. 51 points on the road at Bud Walton Arena. If you're Andy Kennedy, you couldn't have asked for any more from an offensive standpoint.
And for the offense for the Razorbacks, it's been 2 guys, Qualls and Portis, 32 points. The rest of the team, just 8.
And it's not the issue for offense for Arkansas. These 2 guys have been able to get the job done. When you look at Portis, he's been able to finish around the rim, and he hasn't just done it at the rim. Well, and he gets another opportunity at the rim, but he's also been able to knock down a couple of jump shots, as well as Qualls, who's been shooting the ball extremely well. But you think about these 2 guys and what they've done on the offensive end. 32 of the 40 points for Arkansas, they've got to have someone else step up, but more importantly, step up on the defensive end of the floor. You cannot give up 51 points on your home court in one half and expect to be able to win a basketball game.
Portis and Qualls leading the SEC in scoring combined, nearly 34 points. All the talk around Arkansas's offense, 83 a game, best in the SEC. However, Ole Miss's offense has been the story in this first half. About a 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock here in the final seconds of the first half. Summers one-on-one with Qualls. Beautiful bounce fast feed inside. Nice job on the feed to Aaron Jones for the bucket. Qualls the missed three. Portis the putback does not go down. And so Ole Miss making a statement at Bud Walton Arena, up by 13 behind 9 different players here for Coach Andy Kennedy. Ole Miss shooting 74% in that first half. Big reason why they have the 53-40 lead at the half.
John, thanks very much. Brendan Fitzgerald, Adrian Branch back in the studio with the ESPNU halftime report. Arkansas, a lot made about forcing turnovers in the defense. It's all about Ole Miss shooting the three.
Well, they're shooting the ball extremely well. 73% means that you're on fire and lights out. But coming into this game, Coach Kennedy said we have to play with fire and aggression. They've answered that because Arkansas under Mike Anderson has been 90%.
3, called it a 2, so Ole Miss with a 12-point advantage. Nonetheless, Corey Alexander, the 52 points, a season high and a half for the Rebels, and they certainly were sharing the wealth in that first half.
Absolutely, and you look at the balanced scoring for the Ole Miss Rebels. They have 7 guys with 5 points or more, and really everyone got involved in the mix. They shared the ball extremely well, and offensively they were able to pretty much have their way with Arkansas at the other end.
As for Arkansas, they went to their bread and butter in that first half, Bobby Portis and Michael Qualls.
Bobby Portis really got it going in a number of different ways. He was able to step up and knock down the jump shot, and then he was able to do damage underneath the basket as well. And Portis having his way, as well as Qualls knocking down 3-pointers from the perimeter and then driving to the rim and showing the athletic ability to have the quickest second jump, tipping it in. But it's just been those 2 guys really with any offensive production at all for the Razorbacks. And when you look at it, those 2 guys, 32 of the 40 points in this game. Arkansas has to have other guys step up and give them production if they're going to be able to get a win on their home court.
And Portis and Qualls coming in as the top scoring duo in the SEC at just under 34 a game. Take a look at the first half stats and a couple of glaring notes. If you're Arkansas, certainly up front, bench points key, 23-3 in favor of the Rebels, and then points in the paint. That front court for the Rebels certainly dominating.
Absolutely, but the biggest number, 74% field goal percentage. You made 3 out of every 4 shots that you take away from home. That can't happen in the SEC and expect to be able to come away with a win on your home court.
Ole Miss coming in, averaging 43% from the field as the Rebels open up possession here to start off the second half. And a forced turnover, lead to the other end. Madden leading the traffic, and he's fouled on his way to the basket by Moody.
But that is Arkansas Razorback basketball. Turnovers turning into offensive possessions at the other end. And that's one of the things that they were unable to do with Ole Miss in the first half, was get them to turn over the basketball. But you see it's coming out in the second half for Arkansas.
Just the 4th turnover for Ole Miss as Moody called for his 3rd. The Rebels' leading scorer at just under 15 a game has been held in check tonight with 7 points. As Madden, almost automatic from the free throw line, 92%, knocking down the first one for Arkansas.
And Arkansas gave up 95 points, but more importantly, 52 in the first half at Iowa State in a game that they lost 95-77 on the road earlier this year. Giving up that many points in the first half does not normally spell success for the Razorbacks, but we'll see how they respond, because I'm sure they got a stern talking to by Coach Anderson at halftime.
Full court pressure applied by Arkansas after Madden knocked down both free throws to cut the deficit down to 10. Ole Miss looking for their first win on the road against a ranked opponent since 2003. Back-to-back misses, forcing the turnover. As Moody thought about the three, give inside to Colby, and he was hacked on his way to the basket. As Madden called for the foul, that'll be his second. Let's take a look at that last foul.
We'll give a lot of credit first to Stephon Moody, who doesn't settle for a shot when they have the advantage 3-on-2, and the officials would go over and check to see if there was anything extracurricular on this foul. And depending upon the eyes of the beholder, you'll see there could be something there, because the follow-through by Madden going to the face of Colby, they may find something there that I'm not sure will turn out in the favor for the Razorbacks.
And we want to reiterate, only 2 officials in this game after Anthony Jordan was sidelined with a bad calf. So Glenn Tuitt, Mark Ellard, the only referees in this game. So they're really a lot on their shoulders here tonight. We saw that in the first half.
Absolutely. And, of course, when you're talking about big guys, the game moving as fast as it is, there are going to be some missed calls, but these guys are doing a great job considering it's only 2 of them out there on the court.
Well, let's look at this Arkansas program for a moment. They were ranked first time earlier this year. They lose against Clemson and Iowa State. They're ranked 19th. They lose on the road to Tennessee, and right now they're trailing by 10. It's not a young team, but yet they're unable to really deal with the pressure of being ranked right now.
Well, absolutely. Being able to handle prosperity is definitely always going to be tough for a younger team, especially with the team that has the pressure of trying to get to the NCAA tournament that the Razorbacks are carrying this season.
6 straight years without an appearance in the NCAA tournament. Officials ruling Madden getting a flagrant 1 foul as Colby went to the free throw line, knocked down the 2 to make it a 12-point lead. The flagrant 1 giving Ole Miss 2 shots and possession here in this opening minute of the second half. Rhett nearly stripped. Great awareness by the senior to keep it alive. Feed to the top of the arc. Knocking down the 3-point shot was Summers.
And that's a play right there. Bobby Portis went to pick up the basketball. Rhett went to the floor to get it, and because of his energy and his effort, Ole Miss is able to come up with 3 points on that possession, which would have been a turnover in the favor of the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Summers, the first player for the Rebels in double digits with 10 on the 6th three-pointer going down for the Rebels tonight. Madden the double team, and it went off of Bell, and it'll give possession back to Ole Miss.
As you see what should be a turnover for Arkansas, Rhett goes to the floor to make sure he gains possession of the basketball instead of giving it back to the Razorbacks. Summers steps up, knocks down the 3 because of it.
15-point advantage, 57-42 in the opening minutes of this second half. And a quiet Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. Mismatch with Summers, one-on-one with Portis. Steps back off the mark on the 3. Rebound by Rhett, and he draws contact on the way up.
And how about the performance by MJ Rhett? Not conceding that the shot is going in, but doing the job, actually boxing out as an offensive player, and because of it, a second chance opportunity for the Ole Miss Rebels, and Rhett getting to the free throw line. And again, we talked about how good Ole Miss is at the line as a team leading the country in free throw percentage, and they have a number of guys that can get there and cash out when they get opportunities.
10 of 13 from the charity stripe, coming in 78%. As you mentioned, Corey, leading the nation. That last foul going against Ja'Cory Williams. That'll be his 3rd, and he'll take a seat for head coach Mike Anderson. Ole Miss, despite their struggles against LSU, have no fear coming into Fayetteville, having won 4 of the last 5.
Absolutely, and you can see a stunned crowd really, at Bud Walton Arena, simply because you're talking about a team that is 11-0 at home and been dominant, really for the last 4 years that Mike Anderson has been in Fayetteville, they have dominated their home court, but right now, Ole Miss, the team we talked about with Andy Kennedy having his last five wins in there, you think about this is a team that is not afraid at all of coming in and taking on the Razorbacks in that building.
Brett called for a second. The lead now, its largest of the game, at 17 points thanks to a 7-0 run. Swing pass, knocking down the three ball was Bell. Arkansas, a team coming in averaging an SEC best 83 points, have been held tonight to just 45. Answering on the other end is Colby with the big two-handed slam.
And that's been the story of the game so far. Ole Miss being able to answer every Arkansas momentum builder. Ole Miss is able to come back, and they're doing it with easy baskets underneath the rim.
Colby's got 10, matching the LSU performance he had, as Portis will go to the free throw line. And Coach Andy Kennedy wanted to mention how big the front court was for his team's success this year. The sophomore center doing just that.
Absolutely. It doesn't get any bigger than this, and a great pass by Summers to look away. And Colby finishing strong at the rim.
Darius White with his third foul sends Portis back to the free throw line. Arkansas now 17 of 20 from the free throw line, as Terrence Smith coming off the bench for Coach Kennedy. Portis, 16 points, named to the Wooden Watch midseason top 25, one of 3 SEC players, and lead down to 14. And nice defense right there by Arkansas, able to get the ball back.
Just one of the very few times you've been able to see the full court pressure pay off for Arkansas. I believe Colby has some blood. He's going to have to get checked out on the sideline. But Arkansas now, if they can turn those turnovers into points, that's the way that they have to play to be successful. They're not getting the job done in the defensive half court, so hopefully their full court pressure can give them some opportunities on the offensive end.
Swing out to Qualls, top of the arc, knocking down the three just like that off the turnover, as Qualls now with 20. And now a turnover, bringing back to Ole Miss. It's been the Michael Qualls story here tonight. 20 points, the latest three-pointer, trying to get Arkansas back into this one.
Thunder Wizards at 8, Rockets Warriors at 10:30 Wednesday on ESPN.
Does anybody know how I can get a small business loan fast?
I'm a chef.
I'm a stylist.
I sell tires for your car.
I'm a doc in private practice.
That's my name above that bar.
Rapid Advance.
Help my business grow.
Rapid Advance.
They didn't say no.
Rapid Advance.
I got approval in a day.
Rapid Advance. I got my money right away.
With Rapid, there's no hassles, no credit checks galore.
You just need to be in business for a year or more.
Call 877-GO-RAPID or visit rapidadvance.com. Get up to $300,000 in just days. 877-GO-RAPID.
Rapid Advance. They didn't say no. Rapid Advance. They help your business grow.
Call 877-GO-RAPID or rapidadvance.com.
Your money's here.
Healthcare has changed drastically. It's confusing to sort through all your options to find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. We offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain your government subsidy. Let us do all the research and show you how easy and affordable getting health insurance can be at no cost to you. Remember, there's a deadline to get health insurance, so call Health Markets now for affordable health insurance.
Monday on ESPN, the Big 12 will take center stage in a battle of top 25 teams. 18th ranked Oklahoma heads to Allen Fieldhouse to face off with Perry Ellis and 9th ranked Kansas, part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, coming up Monday, 9 Eastern on ESPN. Alongside Corey Alexander, I'm John Brickley. Ole Miss has built up an 11-point lead. If you're head coach Mike Anderson, how do you get this offense for the Razorbacks back in motion?
Well, you get it back by getting turnovers and getting out in transition. That's where Arkansas is at its best. And they're able to trap you, and they've done a good job at that. But, of course, you have to score to be able to set up your pressure. And when you think about that, 64-7 at home in 4 seasons, and no, not quite 4 seasons so far for Mike Anderson, they're great playing at Bud Walton Arena, but they're able to build off of that crowd and the energy and effort and force turnovers and leads to points.
Take a look at the series history. The last 5 games in Fayetteville, 4 of the 5 have gone the way of Ole Miss, looking for their first win against a ranked opponent on the road since 2003. Out of the timeout, Ole Miss controlling possession, up by 11. Summers able to get Harris to commit the foul.
And that's just a veteran move by Jarvis Summers, knowing that he had Harris on his trail, and it would be very difficult for Harris to be able to stop on a dime as Summers was. The pump fake gets Harris into the air, and then jumping into him, getting to the free throw line. And this is the way that you combat the run from Arkansas. Get to the line, stop the momentum of the Razorbacks, and then get back and set your defense.
Summers, the active leader in the SEC in both points, assists, as well as minutes. Knocking down both, and the lead back up to 13.
And don't forget wins.
And wins,
the most important category of all. He has more wins than any SEC player right now. So from that standpoint, that's probably the most important stat.
Off the swing pass, Bell off the mark on that three-pointer. Saiz coming out of nowhere to make that rebound. Summers trying to get the foul, instead loose ball, and possession will go to Arkansas.
Summers was actually able to get away with that on the last possession. This time he was the one initiating the contact, which is why the officials did not call that. A great no call. Coach Andy Kennedy doesn't like it. Of course, he thinks it's a foul, but when Summers initiates the contact, the officials are not going to make that call for him.
10-6, 1-2 in conference play here this season for Andy Kennedy. What do you make of this performance tonight by Ole Miss? 63 points.
Well, you think about a team that, of course, is capable of putting up big numbers. You saw that when they went into Rupp Arena and had 80-plus against Kentucky. But they have to be able to finish. That's the question. Can they finish in the hostile environment?
Turnaround jumper knocks down for Harris. And Arkansas trying to chip away at this deficit, down by 11. Showing the pressure, full court, able to break through. Numbers on the other end. Smith, the bounce pass. Rhett could not connect on the second chance. Qualls on the other end. Portis, the rebound and the putback. And now another turnover, nearly saved. And Arkansas again controlling on the great hustle play by Rashad Madden. New life for Bud Walton Arena. Portis again. Doesn't get the bucket, but he will head to the free throw line. A 9-2 run for Arkansas has them down by 9 here at the 15:01 mark.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. Call the number on your screen right now to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
Not again. I didn't know you guys were watching last night. Thank you guys. It means a lot. Thank you.
What are you talking about, stuff?
I had that 27-10 last night, and today, chicken curry. 54 points last week, and the next day, curry stew.
Yeah, but stuff, I don't think
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. It means a lot. I lace them up every night for guys like you.
Who was that guy?
I don't know. Seems like the chicken, though.
NHL Center Ice lets you choose which games you watch every night of the season.
We are underway.
With up to 40 outer market games a week to choose from, you'll get more hits.
Oh, a monster hit.
More goals.
Oh, my heavens.
More saves.
What a save.
More adrenaline-pumping action from every team around the league. NHL Center Ice. The game lives where you do. For a special half-season price, call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
Hey, 1 pack of razors, please. Comes to 1965.
What? That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't... Comes with a free gift.
Oh, free gift? That's cool.
Tired of getting beat up by high razor prices? DollarShaveClub.com ships amazing razors for just a few bucks. Oh, free gift.
What was a 17-point lead at one point for Ole Miss has dwindled down to 9, and Corey Alexander, Bud Walton Arena has been wanting to explode all night, and Bobby Portis has given him a reason.
Absolutely, and not just Bobby Portis, but the Razorback defense, the full-court pressure, coming up with turnovers, building the momentum, and now Portis has an opportunity to get to the free throw line and cut into this lead, but you have to love the way that Arkansas has come out in the second half and their approach. When they've been able to score instead of that pressure, they've been successful turning over the Rebels.
What's the biggest adjustment so far Mike Anderson has made?
The full court pressure, and this really hasn't been much of an adjustment, just the standpoint that they're able to score at one end and set up the full court pressure to get that guy up on the ball. That trap in the corner, what we call dead man's corner, that's reminiscent of the 94 Arkansas Razorbacks, which was 40 minutes of hell compared to the fastest 40 minutes.
Portis, who already has knocked down a career-high 9 free throws, misses on the first attempt. He, along with Qualls, have combined for 39 of the 54 points here for 19th-ranked Arkansas, who at one point we thought was done.
Well, it looked that way for a while. However, when you think about playing at home, on your home court, you never should be out of a game. Portis misses both free throws there to try to cut into that lead, but now it's about Arkansas. Can they get the job done in their half-court defense? This has been the struggle for them so far in this game.
Moody off the screen, finding Saiz in the low post, and he comes down, the sophomore, with a nice bucket.
Great execution once again. Moody attracting the attention, finding Saiz, and Saiz with a great touch around the basket. The bigs for Ole Miss really have been good in this contest.
Portis answers on the other end for Arkansas, and it's back down to a 9-point deficit. Every time Arkansas answers, Ole Miss is right there with a response.
But right now, you love the patience of Stephon Moody. Break the pressure and get it into the half-court set, and the execution by Ole Miss gets them another huge bucket. This time it's White coming off, knocking down the 3.
Ole Miss has been deadly from three-point range, 7 of 10. And again, another answer by the Rebels. Madden driving through traffic, able to draw the foul.
And Stephon Moody on the last possession broke the pressure, but gave up the basketball so that they could run offense. And by running offense, they get White coming up the elevator screen at the top and stepping up calmly, knocking down the 3. And just like that, is back to a 12-point lead for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Saiz with his 3rd foul as Madden connects on the first. Back into the game now, Anton Beard, the freshman guard for the Hogs. 19 of 24 from the free throw line has kept Arkansas in this game. As Madden now a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line.
There's that trap once again. Ole Miss able to handle it on that possession. But you have to be very careful where you pass the basketball against this Arkansas defense, because they can definitely speed you up in those traps.
Off the screen, Summers. Back down to Saiz, stripped away by Madden. 8th turnover by Ole Miss. Arkansas can get it to single digits. Harris from the left wing, way off the mark. And a nice job by Madden to knock it off Summers and keep it Razorback possession. You can tell he is pumped right now.
Absolutely. You got to love the emotion from your senior captain. Rashad Madden, involved in this game, knows his team is down 10 points. He needs the emotion of this crowd to step up and help them out. And he's cheering them on as he's going to get a break. But Coach Anderson sees that Rashad Madden is bringing it exactly the way he needs for his team tonight.
Madden using all 6'5" to his advantage. As Arkansas trying to bring some life back into Bud Walton Arena.
I don't think Madden wanted to check out on that one.
Long inbounds pass taken away on the steal by Moody. Up and under, off the mark. And a reach-in foul goes against Moody.
And Coach Kennedy does not like the fact that there was no foul called on that possession. He felt like Stephon Moody was hit. Going to the basket. Again, only 2 officials on the floor. They're not going to be able to see everything that goes on. Having that third set of eyes out there, of course, catches a lot more. But in my opinion, these officials have done a great job, especially considering only 2 of them here tonight.
Saiz heads to the bench with 4 fouls. Lend to it, Mark Eller, the 2 officials, doing the best they can. As Ole Miss has built it up, 10-point lead, 68-58, under 13 minutes to play in this one.
And we see Ole Miss going back to that zone that gave Arkansas so much trouble in the first half.
Tipped away, tracked down by Moody. And the junior on the other end answers strong off the glass with the layup. Moody a quiet 9 points, the team's leading scorer, coming in averaging just under 15 points per game.
But Moody's contribution has been more from a ball handling standpoint. He's been very good against the pressure and just beating the traps of Arkansas and then getting his team down, giving up the ball, getting them settled into offensive end so they can execute in the half court.
Ole Miss, Corey, is only 4 points away from tying their season average in points here tonight. Off the pass, White left alone for 3. And now a loose ball foul underneath, and that's going to go against Harris. And that'll be his second.
And the officials got it right. Harris actually had the arm as he went down. So as you see, Harris has the arm locked up. Knowing that he's not going to be able to get to the basketball, he locks up Colby. Great job seeing that because, of course, the official was blocked. But a great job picking up on that and understanding that Harris had that arm locked up.
That's the 4th team foul against Arkansas as Qualls heading to the bench for Coach Anderson. Off the inbound, White, the kick out. Now a deep 3-pointer in the face of a defender was White. Off the mark, Bell tracking down the loose ball. Feed inside, taken away on the steal by Newby. 9th turnover against Arkansas, trailing by 12.
And again, that 2-3 zone, Andy Kennedy switching up his defenses has really given Arkansas a problem in the half court.
Left alone. Colby knocking down the 12-foot jumper.
How about the production of the front court for the Ole Miss Rebels? MJ Rhett, Colby, Saiz, these guys have stepped it up here tonight against a great front line of the Arkansas Razorbacks. The front line of Ole Miss has dominated this game, especially when you talk about points in the paint.
Colby, 12 points, 7 rebounds. Mentioned points in the paint. Ole Miss dominating that compartment, 22-10.
And you see the great hands by Newby coming up with the steal. But one thing that Ole Miss has done, they haven't forced the action. They've given their offense a chance to really be patient and find the best shot for the team. not in a hurry. As Smith comes off, he's not open, but because of the attention that's paid to him off the pick and roll, he finds Kobe at the top of the key, who's wide open and able to step up and knock down the two-pointer.
Corey, so much of the talk surrounding Ole Miss has been White, Summers, and Moody, and rightfully so when you accumulate 55% of the scoring offense. If the front court can produce like they have been tonight, how dangerous of a team can Ole Miss be?
Well, they're extremely dangerous, and you think about a team, of course, that went into Rupp Arena and took Kentucky to overtime, almost handing Kentucky its first loss of the season. So you know how dangerous they are with those guys shooting the ball from beyond the perimeter. But as this front court continues to grow, remember, you're talking about some younger players and guys who haven't had as much experience throughout their career. But now as they're rounding into SEC basketball, this front line from Ole Miss is really starting to give them the production that they need. Kobe has been great tonight. And then you think about Rhett coming off a career-high 15 points against LSU. They're starting to figure it out. And if they do that, this is an extremely dangerous Ole Miss team.
There's a timing error right now, and that's why there's been such of a long of a delay at this point right now. A 14-point lead for Ole Miss. I make the point with this Rebels team, they've been so much better away from Oxford than they have been at home, 5-2 compared to 5-4. A win like tonight, if they can get it, certainly will boast their resume for the NCAA tournament. But it's been one of the most debated topics for Ole Miss. Can they get those big victories? They already have had one against SMU.
Absolutely. And when you think about, Ole Miss, they've also had, signature wins when you talk about it against Creighton, and they also beat Cincinnati. So when you think about those are quality wins, as we look at the clock issue right now, but they have quality wins on their resume, and you see this entire possession, the clock didn't start. The shot clock didn't start. The game clock didn't start. So when you think about it, had to go back and basically subtract how much time it took to run this play, because I'm sure Coach Kennedy will blow a gasket if they would try to have a do-over and take those points off the board.
There's at least 10 Mississippis right there. ACC Sunday Night Basketball continues as part of my home court. Virginia Tech on the road Sunday to take on 15th ranked North Carolina, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPNU. Also available on Watch ESPN. And we talk about the ACC. Big win today for Coach Mike Krzyzewski and Duke, ending that mini two-game losing streak against Louisville.
Absolutely, and you think about Duke, of course, as Coach K approaches 1,000 wins, everyone is going to give them their best effort, which they found out against NC State as well as at home against Miami. But there's no giving as far as anyone giving a win away to Mike Krzyzewski. Everybody wants to knock off the king, and of course, he's the king of coaching college basketball.
Madden, the feed to Harris. Lost possession, stays with Bell. Top of the arc, knocking down the three-point shot. Great half-court set moments ago by Arkansas, finishing with the Bell three-pointer.
And Bell has picked up his production here in the second half. We talked about a guy who scored 23 points last year against Ole Miss in this building when Arkansas was able to beat Ole Miss by 30 and was 7 from 10 beyond the arc. But he's going to need a number of big shots to get the Razorbacks back into this game.
Portis with his second foul. Ole Miss still in control, up 72-61 over Arkansas.
Every day, Bill had a choice. He could walk to work the same way he always did, or he could learn a new language with Rosetta Stone. He could mindlessly check emails, or check out a new lesson.
Je t'aime.
He could watch the grass grow, or watch his language skills grow.
Comme ça?
Très bien.
Right now, you have the same choice. You could let time pass you by, or you could do something life-changing. Experience the new Rosetta Stone. Call now for a free demo at 1-888-232-4871. With award-winning speech recognition technology, Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. Now it's your turn to do something exciting. You could keep watching TV, or you could seize the day. Call now for a free demo at 1-888-232-4871.
Are internet payday loans ruining your life? Do you want control over your money again? If you have 2 or more internet payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program payday loan companies don't want you to know about. A program that will get aggressive and unfair internet payday loan companies out of your bank account. We'll have your money back in your pocket in 1 to 3 days. Call right now for a free consultation.
John Brickley, Corey Alexander, Ole Miss on top of Arkansas 72-61, and the Rebels have gotten a lot of offensive output tonight.
Well, the balanced scoring got started off, of course, with a beautiful lob to Stephon Moody. But Moody you expect. You don't expect necessarily everyone else like MJ Rec stepping up with the 2-hand slam, his production on the inside, as well as Kobe getting the job done under the basket. And, of course, Saez as well. The front line for the Rebels has been strong in today's game. You also expect the usual suspects. Jarvis Summers knocking down the 3, but it's really been a balanced attack for Ole Miss. 9 players with at least 4 points, 8 players shooting 50% field goals, and 6 with at least 1 assist. They've shared the ball, they've stepped up and made huge shots, and of course offensively they've been very effective against this Razorbacks defense.
29 points off the bench as well for Coach Andy Kennedy in his 9th year guiding this program for a Rebels team that in his 9 years have been able to average 21 wins per season. And so now Ole Miss looking to get a big road victory. And Andy Kennedy, think about it like this. First 8 seasons, 171 wins. Corey, that's 3rd most in the SEC in their history. That's even more than Billy Donovan at Florida.
Absolutely. And you look at his record. I mean, you know, you're talking about heavyweight coaches that he's up there mentioned with, and he doesn't get the credit. And I think when you look at Ole Miss, everyone thinks football first, as what you do for the majority of the SEC, especially the SEC West. But Andy Kennedy, now in his 9th year at Ole Miss, has established a program there. SEC champions in 2013. He's been SEC Coach of the Year twice. So you think about it, he's a guy that has established a tradition in Oxford, Mississippi.
Trying to rebound from that 4-point loss back on Wednesday to LSU. Puts them back at 500 in conference action. Off the feed and the timeout. Knocking down the jumper, Aaron Jones. And now Ole Miss has tied their season average in points here with 74.
And you have to be impressed at the approach of Ole Miss. They have so many guys coming in. No one is rattled at all by the great home court advantage atmosphere that Arkansas has. They came in and played this game, almost as if they were at home. They seemed comfortable all night, even against the pressure from Arkansas.
Madden called for the charge, his 3rd personal foul. And so much of the talk around the SEC, Corey, has been about top-ranked Kentucky, who won again, along with Virginia, the last 2 unbeatens in the country. But you've got some talented teams in Florida, Arkansas, and Ole Miss as well.
Well, actually, and when you think about a guy like Andy Kennedy, who has had success in this league, the last thing he wants to hear about is it's Kentucky and the rest of the conference. Andy Kennedy has an SEC championship to his credit, and coaches, and whether they'll say it or not, because he didn't say this to us, but they take that personally. They don't want to be looked at as it's only Kentucky in this conference. The SEC is a very good basketball conference, and these coaches want to make sure their teams come out and perform well and let the world know that, hey, there's a lot of better basketball going on than just Kentucky here in the Southeastern Conference.
So now a 1-and-1 situation as Summers called for his 2nd foul. And a 15-point advantage here for the Rebels at the 9:23 mark. As Bell knocks down the first one. This Arkansas program, 13-3 coming into this one, 2-1, and yet their offense, which averages a league best 83 points a game, has just been held in check throughout tonight.
Absolutely, and they, defensively, they give up over 70 points per game. They're last when it comes to defensive scoring in the SEC, but that has more to do with their pace and the style of play. They get up and down the floor where there are a large number of possessions. But right now, they've been unable to really force any turnovers, and Ole Miss has had their way on the offensive end, especially in against the half-court defense of Arkansas. They've been able to pick and choose whatever they wanted.
Moody coming up with that last 3 for Ole Miss. Reason why he's the most accurate three-point shooter, Corey, in the SEC.
It's great execution. As you see Summers come off, someone has to help. But when you help off a shooter like Stephon Moody, he makes you pay for it. A great job by Summers drawing a defender, driving kick basketball. Simple play, but a great result for the Rebels.
So Colby called for the foul. That'll be his second. Moody, along with Colby, as well as Summers, tied for the team lead in points here tonight with 12 as Madden takes a seat for Arkansas. And Portis back to the line, 9 of 12 in a 1-on-1 situation.
We're talking to Coach Kennedy about the Ole Miss Rebels. And he said they always have to have at least 2 of their 3 guards play well. Well, they've had all of them play well tonight, and the front court has stepped up big time and given them tremendous production. And you see the result of that. 79 points with just under 9 minutes left to go in this game, and they're doing it on the road. Not even at home in the comfortable confines of their own arena, but doing it away at Bud Walton Arena here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Shooting 67% from the floors. Portis knocks down the second free throw. Game high 23 for the sophomore forward. But still, Ole Miss on top, 79-64 as we approach 8:30 left to play. Summers with the left hand, too strong to the glass. And Portis able to track down the loose rebound. And now going coast to coast, met by the block. And now Summers able to settle down play. Three-point shooting has been a difference maker here tonight. 8 of 13 for Ole Miss, as well as the front court play as well. White lost the handle right into the hands of Portis. Portis thought about the 3. Now gives it off to Williams at the free throw line, off the mark on that jumper.
Great decision by Summers. Don't be in a rush right now. You have the game in control. Don't give Arkansas any opportunities to get easy baskets off of turnovers. Continue to execute your offense.
Moody couldn't go down. Try is there for the putback. The front court for Ole Miss has been the true storyline here tonight. Arkansas has just had no answer.
And Arkansas also hasn't had an answer for this 2-3 zone. And this is how Tennessee was able to have success against Arkansas. It was the half-court zone that they struggled with. But on the other end, they struggled defending Ole Miss. As we see Stephon Moody coming off the screen, doesn't have to look for himself, throws it up to a friend. Unable to finish here, but I've got your back, says Syed.
Guys, you know they got 6-packs in the aisles now. Save tons of money.
Save big on 6-packs of 5-Hour Energy.
Are you being audited? And do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Brandon Fitzgerald back in studio. Aaron Valdez and the Hawaii Warriors looking to get a mainland victory. This game is going to start on ESPN News in 11.5 minutes. It'll be on ESPNU when they are done in Fayetteville. John, Corey, back to you.
All right, Brendan, looking forward to that matchup. Meanwhile, the SEC standings, Corey, we take a look at the top 8. Kentucky with their victory today over Alabama, the lone undefeated team in conference play at 4-0. But for Ole Miss, sitting at 1-2 in conference play, a win tonight would mean big things for their resume.
Absolutely. It would get them right back into the logjam. As you see, 4 teams already right there at 2-2. And with the SEC, a number of teams have, quality non-conference schedule wins. So when it starts come time for March and those at-large bids, if you're unable to win the tournament, games like this for Ole Miss, of course, help you out, especially for a team that, a near miss at Kentucky. But that's a positive when the NCAA tournament committee will look at their resume.
And Coach Kennedy said there was no moral victories. Our players were visibly disappointed after that overtime loss to Kentucky, having gone scoreless the last 3+ minutes of that overtime session as Qualls checks in. A couple of surprises today, too. Texas A&M with a big win on the road over LSU, coming off their victory over Ole Miss. And how about Georgia knocking off Billy Donovan in Florida, ending the Gators' 24-game conference win streak?
Well, Georgia's backcourt, of course, as they continue to get Kenny Gaines healthy. Charles Mann, Kenny Gaines, and when you think about J.J. Frazier, that backcourt allows them to be successful. And you've heard me say it time and time again, when you've got good guard play, you've always got a chance. Just ask the Ole Miss Rebels about that.
4th foul on Moody. Largest lead of the game now for Ole Miss.
And Stephon Moody, he's done a great job pulling it out, running the offense. This time continues to stay in aggressive attack mode and is able to finish at the rim. And again, he's been more of a contributor, even though he's scored now 14 points, he's been more of a contributor in handling the basketball and being a pressure reliever against the pressure from Arkansas. And now he's going to get a well-deserved break. But, you think about it, only 9 turnovers for Ole Miss against this Arkansas defense. That's a great ball handling game.
Coming into the matchup, Arkansas had problems against Ole Miss in Fayetteville, having lost 4 of the last 5 matchups. What is Ole Miss doing that the rest of the nation cannot do against Arkansas?
They have a secondary and a third ball handler that when you trap the first guy and they're able to get it out, understands how to make plays and get their team in, and also knows when to stay in attack mode and when to pull it out and run offense. Now, as we talk about how well Ole Miss has handled the basketball, now you see them turn it over, but Arkansas, it's up to them to see if they can get points off of these turnovers.
Arkansas needing points, and they need them fast. Driving in the lane, bounce pass to Madden. Qualls with the cross-court dribble. Gets the floater to go down as the junior guard now has 22 to lead the way for Arkansas. No Portis on the floor. He's on the bench with 23 points and an 83-69 lead here for Ole Miss. Summers to Saez, and he's going to go to the free throw line.
For basically 20 seconds of that possession, Jarvis Summers had the basketball in his hand, breaking the pressure and then getting it back, probing the defense and finding the right opportunity for the Rebels. He had a turnover on the last possession, but when you think about it, what Summers and Moody have done has been a tremendous job, and because of the turnovers and not allowing Arkansas to be able to get out in transition, you're talking about a team that averages 83 points a game, leads the SEC in scoring, but they've struggled because they've had to play against the half-court defense of Ole Miss. Now, when Ole Miss has guarded Arkansas man-to-man, Arkansas has had success. The 2-3 zone has really been, the ace in the back pocket for Coach Kennedy all night for this game.
Bell with the foul. That was his second, team 7th for Arkansas. Although they are in the double bonus, and at this point with an 85-69 advantage is how big it is for the Rebels. It does not help opponents when Ole Miss is 78% from the free throw line, tops in the nation. Reverse, unable to connect on the drive was Nick Babb. And a one and done for Arkansas's offense, down by 16. An Ole Miss team looking to rebound after that 4-point loss back on Wednesday to LSU after victories over Georgia. As Summers launching one from deep outside, unable to get it. Check that on their conference win. Ole Miss beating South Carolina. But tonight it's been the Ole Miss story. Arkansas has struggled tonight in all facets.
And when you look at the assists per game, a lot of that because they get out in transition, share the basketball, and they get easy baskets. But Arkansas has made it a half-court game. I'm sorry, Ole Miss has made it a half-court game against Arkansas tonight. And because of that, you see the shooting percentages for Arkansas. It's been a struggle. The two guys, Qualls as well as Bobby Portis, have had success, but they haven't been able to get much production from anyone else from the Razorbacks.
Madden with a floater in the lane, and that drops. He's now got 13. But it seems as if every time Arkansas tries to make a run, Corey, Ole Miss has an answer. Newby, the kick out to Smith. Front iron to the three-point attempt and tracked down by Madden. Madden launching from three-point range, and he got it.
And now Madden starting to step it up. The senior captain giving what he has left. We saw him emotional early. He was the reason that Arkansas was able to make a run. And now his three cuts this to an 11-point game.
A 9-2 run for Arkansas. As the lead down to 11 here with 3:37 left to go. And head coach Andy Kennedy wants a timeout. And a reminder as well, Monday on ESPNU, Isaiah Taylor and number 20 Texas going up against in-state rival TCU. Big Monday presented by Verizon. Tipping off at 7 Eastern here on ESPNU. Also available on Watch ESPN. Well, Ole Miss has been one of those teams that can really light up the scoreboard if they're firing on all cylinders, and the trifecta so far here tonight, Wide, Summers, and Moody especially.
Well, and they got it going off of turnovers early. Newby to Moody. A nice connection on the alley-oop. And then it was White finding Moody in the corner, knocking down the three. Now it's time for Moody to get out in transition, finish at the rim. And he has done it in so many different aspects of this game, handling the pressure. And Stephon Moody, who really allowed the SEC to know who he was on the road at Kentucky, has made a tremendous statement here tonight in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
At 5 3-pointers in the loss to Kentucky did Moody. He's got 14 tonight. Now keep this in mind. Ole Miss right now is shooting 60.8 from the field. The highest ever in Bud Walton Arena by an opponent was South Carolina, 59.6%. That was back in 2000. And for Ole Miss, a team that's been averaging 74 points a game, they've been able to put up 85 against this Hogs defense.
And the thing about this game, the way that Arkansas plays, you're going to have to continue to score. Even though you want to kill time and run your offense, you can't sit back and hold the basketball against this Arkansas defense.
Summers with the floater. Does not get it to drop, but he will go to the free throw line. The lead down to 11. Arkansas trying to hang around.
Cheez-It grooves are the best of both worlds, like a Cheez-It and a chip.
Oh, you just put them together.
Yes.
Closer. Closer. They're kissing.
We take time for our cheese to mature in our crispy Cheez-It grooves.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, glory, Ram.
At Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. Wait, the 10 nuggets deal is back again?
$1.49 for 10 nuggets.
Sweet! They're crispy and golden on the outside, made with white meat on the inside. Enjoy 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49 today, only at Burger King.
Hey, big guy. I heard you lost a close one today. Look, Jamie, maybe we weren't the lowest rate this time. But when you show people their Progressive Direct rate and our competitors' rates, you can't win them all. The important part is you help them save.
Thanks, Flo.
Let's go get you an ice cream cone, champ.
The sprinkles?
Sprinkles are for winners.
I understand.
Brandon Fitzgerald back in studio. Taylor Johns and the UC Riverside Highlanders will look to even their record in the Big West to 2-2 on the season. This game just about to tip over on ESPN News. Hawaii, UC Riverside, and then it'll be on ESPNU when they're done in Fayetteville. Guys?
Brendan, thank you very much. 19th ranked Arkansas hoping for one last gasp here at 3:31 left to play and down by 11. Earlier today, Kentucky continuing their undefeated streak. Corey Alexander knocking off Alabama. You look at the performance so far from John Calipari and the Wildcats. Closest game, that 3-point overtime win over Ole Miss.
And now when you're watching this game, you can see how dangerous Ole Miss is. But when you think about the Kentucky Wildcats and, you know, all the platoon system, et cetera, then losing Alex Portras for the season with the torn ACL, you hate to say that it actually helped them, because now it's one less guy that they're having to play. But when you think about the lineup on the floor with Tyler Ulis, Aaron Harrison, and Devin Booker, now you have a very formidable backcourt in Big Blue Nation. And I think that actually helps them, because going away from the platoon system allows John Calipari to get those guards more minutes.
Our colleague Dan Dockich thinks Kentucky's going to run the table undefeated in the regular season. You agree?
I disagree. In conference play, I think it's just too tough for you to be able to show up every night and be able to come away with the win. Their first two games, they go to overtime, and everyone talks about now they've refocused defensively. You can't tell me they weren't focused against Ole Miss. You know, so from that standpoint, I don't think that they'll be able to run the table.
So Ole Miss up 87-74 on the foul by Summer, sending Madden back to the free throw line. I think they've survived so many close calls, Kentucky has, with the win over Texas A&M, the win over Ole Miss. I just have a feeling that there's going to be a team at home that's going to be able to knock off Kentucky.
And if I had to put my money on it, regardless as to how well their year has gone, they got to play the Florida Gators twice.
I was going to say the same thing.
And with that being said, you know, Billy Donovan, in my opinion, one of the top 5 coaches in college basketball, and his program has been, for the most part, unmatched success. When you think about it, 2 national championships and all of what they've done throughout the SEC since he's been at Florida, honestly, I can't see them beating Florida twice this year.
And think about it like this. Billy Donovan's club has defeated Kentucky at home each of the last 2 seasons. That game, February 7th at Florida on ESPN.
And they beat them 3 times last year. And everyone said, oh, well, the 3rd time is a charm. Kentucky will come in. They'll beat Florida this time, and Florida beat him again in the SEC championship. So he understands how to beat John Calipari in Big Blue Nation.
And Arkansas beating them last year as well at Kentucky knows a thing or two. And now Portis travels with the basketball. He does not like the call.
Well, that's a big call, because if you're Arkansas, you're able to corral that rebound. Now you have a chance to go down and get this game within single digits. And defensive stops have been hard to come by for the Razorbacks. So now they've got to do it again. And, of course, every second that ticks away on that clock is not a friend of Arkansas.
Off the inbounds, White could not connect on the jumper off glass. Moody tracking down the loose ball.
And just like that, now Ole Miss has another opportunity to kill 35 seconds on the offensive end and bleed that clock more and more, not giving Arkansas any room for comeback.
And you can't foul Ole Miss. They're 78 in the country from the free throw line. Shot clock under 10. Summers driving through, partially blocked by Portis. And now the foul that'll go against Rhett, his fourth.
And Coach Andy Kennedy is not happy about that, because when you make this call in transition, but yet when his guy goes to the basket, there's no call. He's not happy about that, and I don't believe he's happy with his players either, because it wasn't one. He's telling Jarvis Summers, you've got to be smarter. It's not the time for that, especially when you have an 11-point lead. Continue to milk the clock. Don't take anything early and give Arkansas opportunities to get back in this game.
2 shots in the bonus situation for Arkansas as the first one drops for Madden. One person comes to mind in a situation like this. Marshall Henderson would love the ball at this point, even though it's a double-digit lead for Ole Miss. He was that dagger against opponents. Who do you look for tonight if you're the Rebels?
Well, just the man that Andy Kennedy was speaking to, Jarvis Summers. The senior point guard has to be the guy to take this game under the reins and make sure that his team gets a quality shot every time down the floor.
First miss at the free throw line for Madden. He was a perfect 11-11 before. And now a timeout taken by Andy Kennedy and Ole Miss. Back to the studio and Brendan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Hawaii, UC Riverside underway in the Big West Conference, 1-1 early. We think there will be more scoring. That game on ESPN News right now, also available on Watch ESPN. Back over to ESPNU when you guys are done.
Good old baseball score, 1-1.
Absolutely, gotta love it. I'm a baseball guy.
Up 87-77 here over 19th ranked Arkansas. 2:06 left to go in this one. If you're Arkansas and Coach Mike Anderson, what's got to be the game plan?
Well, it's got to be your full court pressure. You've got to get those tight traps and see if you can come away with turnovers without fouling and be able to score some points in transition off of those turnovers. That's your only chance of getting back in this game, especially against an Ole Miss team that shoots the ball so well from the free throw line. #1 in the country at over 78% as a team.
Jarvis Summers fouled by Qualls. The senior guard, a 78% free throw shooter, 4 of 4 from the line here tonight. For an Ole Miss team looking for their first victory over a ranked opponent on the road since 2003. Summers now a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And tonight, 85% from the floor, excuse me, from the free throw line, rather, are the Rebels. Bell trying to answer on the other end. The three-point shot just has not gone down tonight for Arkansas, Corey.
And this is the one guy you really don't want to foul when you're talking about having to put guys on the line. A 90% free throw shooter, Stephon Moody. And this is where it can become almost academic for Ole Miss. Just go to the free throw line, knock down your shots, do what you do on a nightly basis, and you walk out of here with the victory.
Moody building on the lead, now up to 13. For Ole Miss, kind of look at what they've got coming up at Georgia, then a couple of home games against Florida and Mississippi State. You go 3-0 over those 3 games. Now Ole Miss is really a factor in the SEC. Madden, step back jumper knocks down, and quickly taking a timeout is Arkansas. Corey, I mentioned their upcoming schedule for their 5 next games on the SEC network. All 5 of those games certainly winnable here for the Rebels.
Yeah, but also losable.
Well, that's
you think
true,
about
yes.
it. Having to go to Georgia. Florida has been playing much better, although they dropped one today. And then when you think about Mississippi State, it's an in-state rivalry. Throw out any records, anything going on. At Missouri, LSU found out that's not an easy win. And then, of course, Texas A&M, overtime game with Kentucky as well. So you think about this. The SEC right now, outside of Kentucky, the only dominant team Everyone else kind of jockeying for position right there, which makes for some quality basketball.
Meanwhile, Arkansas showcasing 3 players, including Portis, with more than 20 points. Not the type of performance Mike Anderson and company were expecting, even off that Tennessee loss on the road. How do they rebound from a performance like this?
Well, it's getting back to basics, you know, and Coach Anderson told us about they had an intense week of practice on the defensive end, but yet it did not show in today's game. In half-court defense, you know, Ole Miss has gotten what they want against Arkansas's half-court defense. The full-court defense has been effective at times for the Razorbacks, but once they got the ball across half-court and set their offense, Ole Miss got pretty much everything they wanted all night. I mean, you look at it, 91 points, an opportunity to continue to add more, and they've shot 56% from the field, and that's down. 75 in the first half, that's made it a tough game.
And that free throw setting a new season high in points scored for Ole Miss, 93. Corey, coming in, this Rebels team averaged 74.
Well, the first half really got it done for them. They've just been maintaining the game since that point. A couple of runs by Arkansas, but for the most part, they've been in control this entire game.
Quickly fouling Moody is Madden. And the stat sheet's going to look deceiving come tomorrow for Arkansas fans. 81 points. Season average 83, and you can tell visibly on the face of Mike Anderson he is not happy tonight.
Well, Mike Anderson didn't like the fact that there wasn't a push-off called on Stephon Moody. As one of his players went to the floor against the full-court pressure, he felt like it was a push-off in front of Moody right in front of the Arkansas bench. But again, there are only 2 officials on the floor tonight. It's difficult to watch everything. As you see, probably was a push on Moody there. You see the shoulder is lowered. Mike Anderson out on the court trying to plead his case, but 2 officials, it's difficult to see everything going on.
Still some confusion between the officials and Mike Anderson. And they charge the foul, in fact, now to Madden. Originally, it was given a bell. That would have fouled him out. Instead, Madden credited with his 4th foul. Moody coming down with the first free throw. One thing Coach Andy Kennedy spoke to us about was the fact that he wanted his team to have a lot of swagger. That there wasn't any on this team. A win like this on the road in a hostile environment can go a long way.
And you had to say the word swagger, didn't you?
I did. I was waiting all night for it.
You know how much I hate hearing that word. But, you know, like I said, this win does give them a tremendous amount of confidence that they're able to pull it off over the next minute of this game. You know, but when you think about it, I think that Kentucky lost, regardless as to whether or not they took it as a moral victory. It gave them the confidence to know that they could go into hostile territory and still be successful. And they have to attribute a lot of that game to them being successful here in Bud Walton Arena tonight.
Reminder coming up next, Big West Conference basketball, Hawaii and UC Riverside once this game goes final, as Ole Miss, with 5 players in double figures, going to improve to 11-6 on the season, 2-2 in conference play, while Arkansas is going to drop back-to-back conference games, fall to 13-4 and 2-2 in conference play. Another timeout on the floor here with 26.3 seconds to go. So for Arkansas, a team trying to make the NCAA tournament after missing the last 6 seasons. As we take a look at their upcoming schedule, going to have a big matchup coming up against Anthony Grant in Alabama. And then they're going to go on the road at Missouri before returning back home to Bud Walton Arena on the 27th here on ESPNU to go up against Tennessee, seek revenge against the Vols.
Well, and when you think about Arkansas, again, picked 3rd in the preseason SEC polls, and a chance for them to get to the NCAA tournament this year, They had some bumps in the road along in their non-conference schedule, but they've got a chance. But it's going to take finishing at the top, not necessarily having to be able to beat Kentucky, but finishing close to the top of the SEC standings. And when you give away games at home, it's almost like you've got to go make it up with 2 road wins to make up for a home loss.
Prior to that summer's miss, Ole Miss was 18 of 18 from the free throw line in the second half. As he knocks down the second one to make it a 96-81 lead. Another foul underneath. I look at this Ole Miss team, Corey, and I think, as we mentioned, if the front court can play as well as the back court, it's going to be a tough team to beat.
Absolutely, and then when you're able to do it on the road, even more so importantly. But now if you're Ole Miss, you have to figure out, hey, guys, we have to be able to have that same effort when we're playing at home. You know, maybe they should stay in the hotel the night before, make it seem like it's a road game, whatever it may be. But Coach Andy Kennedy has to be, you know, a little mind-boggled about the fact that they're giving up games at home, but they're able to come out and play with such energy, effort, and having success on the road.
6-2, they're going to improve to on the road, and coming off that 3-point overtime loss to Kentucky, no doubt is this going to be a confidence booster with the victory over 19th ranked Arkansas in Fayetteville. So Ole Miss is going to come away with the victory tonight in Fayetteville over 19th ranked Arkansas to give Coach Kennedy and the Rebels their first road win over a ranked team on the road since 2003. Once again, our final score, Ole Miss a winner, 96-82 over Arkansas. For my partner, Corey Alexander, and our entire crew, I'm John Brickley. Coming up next, Big West Conference basketball, Hawaii and UC Riverside.
Welcome inside SRC Arena, Hawaii and UC Riverside in Big West action. And Stefan Jankovic, in his first career start for the Bows, throws it down with authority and pays the price. He said, hey, it's my first start. You really going to tee me up?
Well, to answer your question of who does this pace favor more, I think it's the Rainbow Warriors, because they have players like Jankovic who did hang on to the rim.